Hello, welcome back to this video. This video is going to be part 2 to my little thought of the day regarding boredom. If you have not seen the first video about boredom and how I believe that boredom is one root of evil, one source of evil, then go check it out. I'll put a link at the bottom to the previous video, part 1 of boredom, a root to evil. I guess I haven't have a name yet. But yeah, the video link will be at the bottom of this video. Okay, so that's part 1. This is part 2. So I've been thinking a bit more about boredom and how powerful it is, right? Powerful in the sense that it is not an attractive kind of power. It is a repulsive kind of power. You don't want to be bored, so you try to do all that you can to get away from boredom. Some people work really, really hard. They become workaholics because they don't want to be bored. And, I'm going to raise my hand and say that I have done that. I've been through that. I've thrown myself into work and just to avoid boredom. And it worked, but it led to burnout as well. So you have to be balanced. Like we talked about in one of my previous videos, balance is the key to life, right? Right, so let us explore more about boredom and how good or bad it is. So I remember in the first video, I kind of bundled it all together, right? I kind of brought up idleness and boredom, and some people thought that is the same thing. Like idleness is being bad, and I mean, idleness is not bad. Okay, let me just say that being idle is not bad. Like being bored is bad in my books. And why do I say that is because when you're bored, you do things that are stupid, right? When you're idle, you don't necessarily do things that are stupid. You do things that are productive. Like if you have time, like a lot of people now, especially maybe you have a lot of time now, at home or wherever you are, maybe you're working from home, maybe you're doing other things at home. Whatever you're doing at home, stay safe, right? And if you have a lot of time on your hands, that means you're idle. Doesn't mean that you're bored. Like I mentioned in the first video about how the gods the quote unquote gods, right? The Olympian gods that they believed in, like Zeus and uh, um, Hercules and all these other things. Well, Hercules is not really an idol god. He's like a demigod, right? According to their categories. Uh, Neptune and Hades, all those few things, they were mostly Olympian gods. Okay, so not the other gods, but okay. So I'm getting confused now. I'm sorry if I'm confusing you. If I'm confusing you, I'm sorry. What I'm saying is there's a lot of gods in Olympia, which is where the heaven is, and they were really idle. They didn't need to do anything all day long. They just sat and play games and do fun things. So that kind of idle, if we have that, like a lot of people who are retired, right? They are idle, but they're not bored because they find things to do, whether it's croquet or knitting or golf or just watching sports or watching TV or playing bridge or euchre or any of those other games. They are not necessarily bored, right? They're idle. They have lots of time on their hands, just like you. Like I'm saying, you might have a lot of time on your hands and you don't need to be bored. And maybe you're not bored. You found things to do, maybe gardening, maybe sewing, art, making music, playing musical instruments, learning a musical instrument, learning how to play one, like a piano or guitar or drums or whatever, right? Or maybe you're doing your own thing, whatever you're doing, reading books, writing books, whatever you're doing, as long as you're not bored, you can be idle. Idle is not a bad thing. Idle is actually being idle, like having free time and not having to rush from one place to another place, from point A to point B, is a good thing. And that's what we need to learn, is to be idle but not bored. So like I said, a lot of people they are very tired and sick and afraid of being bored. They find things to do, things that are not always smart, and So my point is, being idle is not a route to evil. Um, People, yeah, there's a saying, idle hands, devil's workshop. But I think boredom is actually the evil thing and not being idle. Excuse me. So some people, they don't like idle, they don't like to be idle. They always want to be doing something. Like I said, back in a day when I was like that, I was always trying to do something, either turning things into a business or turning things into work, right? And these are, like trying to, you know basically, I guess they are, and I was really afraid of being restless. Restless is like the need to be active and not passive, always doing something. um and it's like always go, do, always on the move, right? So um this is almost to the point like an animal, where their instincts propel them or impel them to do things. So they're always doing things, always on the move. And some people are like that. They love to travel, and they love to travel from one place to another place because they don't want to be bored. They don't want to be idle either. So they want to keep, like some people, they have a really nice job or whatever. And then they just pick up themselves and leave and go to another country and then go, start a new life. And then after a few years, they get really bored. It's like just like that illustration where people say that the grass is always greener on the other side, right? So they're like, okay, the grass is greener. Let me go over there. And then they go over there, they see, oh, the grass is not that green. There's patches of, burnt grass, and there's an anthill here, there's this and that there. And so it's not perfect. And then they keep going and going and going. And eventually they never find a place. Just like, a rolling stone gathers no moss. So they never really gather any moss. They never put down roots. And some people do put down roots, but it's a different sense where they fall in love, they get married, and then it's always doing something, right? It's like, and then, okay, then they have kids, and they have grandkids, and then they have this and that. So it never really ends. And sure, they're not bored, they're not idle, but it's like work is almost like a never-ending um, story or never-ending journey. They're always doing something. So um, what is my point? My point is that being bored could be like quicksand. To avoid being bored, you have to keep moving, right? So just like in quicksand, you're supposed to not struggle, because then the more you struggle, the more you get sucked into quicksand. And quicksand basically, it doesn't really move; it just stays there, and then it's you and gravity, and your weight, and the surface area tension that causes you to basically sink lower and lower and lower. And the more you struggle, the more you sink. So in the same way I see boredom, the more you move and do things that may not be productive or good, that you sink deeper and deeper into boredom. And some people, they try to run from it, and the more they run from it, the more bored they get. That's how it is. So um think also about, your memories, whether it is a couple years ago, or when your teenage years, or when you were a kid, like 5, 10, 20, 30 plus years ago. Those memories, they are like sweet memories. You forget a lot of the pain, you forget a lot of the trouble, and the uh, pressures, and the things that cause you to lose sleep. You've only remember the good stuff. Why is that, right? um because sometimes we remember our experiences in different ways, and like as more and more time goes by, we remember those times as good times, the good old times, right? And they were really fun times. I did a lot of things, and I really enjoyed it, and I wasn't bored. But actually, um maybe you were, but then you only remember the good parts, and you also remember the bad parts. And the thing is, you don't remember as much bad as good. So a lot of times it's always the good parts. So my main thing in this point is that you need to remember and live life with control. You need to forget certain things, but you also need to remember certain things, right? To live life and experience it fully, you need to remember and forget. You need to give and take. You need both sides of it, right? Um, you need to pause and reflect. And I think in this time it's really good to spend a lot of time to reflect and think about your past and what you want to do in the future, and not be bored because there's so many things to do. Um, but keep your enjoyment under control, right? Don't go crazy, don't burn out. Um, you need to remember certain things and forget certain things. So, sometimes people, actually, no, let me give you my own example, right? With this July 2020 YouTube challenge, why am I doing this? Is it because I'm bored? No, it is not, because I want to challenge myself to do something proactive, and 7 videos a day is, it could easily burn anyone out. And I was suffering a bit of burnout in the beginning, but now I think I've had it under control because I have a strategy, I have a plan, and I figured out how to do this. And so not everyone can do this. Like, and maybe any, let me think. Yeah, I don't think anyone or everyone can do this. Some people can, some people can, and some people cannot. So okay, before I continue with that thought, I remember when we were kids and in school, when we were bored by the teacher, like we were really, really, uh, like literally bored by the teacher because she couldn't teach, we would find things to do in the classroom, whether it's doodling or looking at the wall, looking at the spider, looking at the ground and counting, like dots, making dots on the piece of paper, or sending messages, folding airplanes, paper airplanes. I'm not sure if people still do that nowadays, but we did all kinds of stuff to keep ourselves from being bored, right? We would send messages to each other, but that was back when before we had the cell phones and everything. We had to like literally write it down and pass it along, and hopefully no one reads it along the way, especially if you're sending it to your crush. um yeah, it was a very, very different time, and when we were bored in class, we found things to do, right? So in the same way, we should find things to do in life now, especially when we're bored, right? So I mean, this topic of boredom can be so, I could just spend many hours talking about boredom. Okay, let me go back to my main thought just now. Was that the July 2020 challenge is not because I'm bored. I have lots of other things to do, and this is something I want to do in order to grow my channel and to find more people that are interested in what I have to say. Also to push myself to be more outgoing, more extroverted, to actually share my thoughts with the world, and it could even be a legacy, something I want to leave behind. As also want to share my life with people and get to know other people as well, right? That's why I always ask you to post your comments below so that I can respond to them and get to know you as well, if you want me to. And let's get to know each other and be friends on YouTube and other places. I am also on other social media platforms, and you can check that out. Just look for at deardanielim. So I always appreciate everyone listening and watching to the end of the video, and as usual, please subscribe and like and follow and hit the bell and all that fun stuff. Share with your friends, comment, right? It really, I really appreciate all of you being part of this project and this challenge to make like 200 plus videos. I think I can reach it. I think I can even like get to more than 200 plus videos. We'll see at the end. I'm going to maybe do a review about how many, all the stats and data, I guess, not all, but the relevant ones, I guess, and share it with you guys. So my main thing for today is this is part 2. I hope that you have enjoyed this and it hasn't been boring, that you learned something about yourself, and ultimately I want you to learn something about yourself. I'm not teaching you, I'm just sharing life insights, things people have said that I've processed and thought about, and I want to share with you. So I hope this has been wonderful and valuable and insightful, and let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you for subscribing, for liking, for commenting, and for being part of my community, and I will see you tomorrow for another thought of the day.